Order of operations with absolute values, body mass index. In your workbook, we have a chart. This chart relates to our body mass index. So to determine the BMI number helps healthcare professionals decide how much nutritional intervention is needed. For example, a patient with a number of 16 needs to increase his or her nutritional intake, whereas a patient with a number of 40 would need to make nutritional changes to lose weight. So, in order to determine BMI, a healthcare professional could use this equation. So, we have the absolute value, and we have weight in pounds divided by 2.2, which is then divided by the height in inches divided by 39.37, and that is raised to the second power. So, let's take a look at the following scenario. Leslie weighs 175 pounds and is 63 inches tall. What is her BMI? So to find out Leslie's BMI, we need to first place the numbers into our equation. So we have 175 divided by 2.2 divided by 63 divided by 39.37. This is all raised to the second power. So to solve this, let's remember we have our order of operations, which is P, E, M, D, and A and S. So absolute value signs need to be solved with the P for parentheses. So working from left to right, we first divide 175 divided by 2.2. So let's use a calculator. So 175 divided by 2.2 will give us the answer of 79.454. And so we want to round in the hundreds place, so which is the first 4. So we look at the 5 to the right of it and see that it's a 5. And that's between 5 to 9, so we will round up. So we have an answer of 79.55. And then, because there's an absolute value sign, if it was negative, we would make it positive. And then now we can just leave it as is. And this number is then divided by 63 divided by 39.37. So let's do that. 63 divided by 39.37 is equal to 1.6. Or we can do 1.60. So we have 1.60, and this is raised to the second power. So let's continue. So we have that times 1.6, as raising it to the second power means we're multiplying this 2 times to give us an answer of 2.56. So let us write then, we have 79.55 divided by 2.56. And then we can now do our last step to give us our final answer. So 79.55 divided by 2.56. So this gives us an answer of 31.07. Now because BMI, we can round to the nearest whole 1 in the ones place. So we look at the 1, we look to the right of it to see if we round up or down. Because it's 0, we can just leave it as 31. So our answer is 31 for her BMI. So according to the chart, we can see that Leslie is considered obese. So now before we work through another example, let's go over some key points. Absolute values work just like parentheses, but they make the final number inside positive. after it has been simplified. This means that you must complete all the operations inside the absolute value before you can make the number positive. Next, when working with BMI numbers, always round to the hundredths. Spot the except for your final answer. For this number, round to the ones. Spot to make it a whole number. So example 2, let's look at here. Here we just have numbers. So we have an absolute sign of 7 minus 4 raised to the second power. So since absolute values are just like parentheses, this is our first step. So we will use the order of operations also within the absolute value to determine what to do first. So we have the parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide, and add and subtract. So for this problem, we will first address the squared. So to solve, we're going to go 4 minus 3, we'll just leave as is, 7, and then 4 raised to the second power is really the same 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is actually 16. So we can go minus 16. So now the second step, as we've dealt with our exponents and we are in their parentheses, is to do, we don't have a multiplication or division, so then we can look at add and subtract. So 7 minus 16 is the same as negative 9. So let's write this out. But because this is an absolute value, it makes anything inside that's negative become positive. So 4 times 3 times 9. Now, this problem is now we can look back at our steps of order of operations to determine what's next. So we've dealt with the parentheses, which was the absolute value. We don't have any exponents. So now we can look to multiply and divide, which is shown right there. So we will begin to multiply. So 4, and then we have negative 3 times 9, which is minus 27. So now we are at our last step of add and subtract, as we've just completed our multiplication. So 4 minus 27 is going to make it a lot less negative, so we get to negative 23. That's our final answer.